Ghanaian Times.
Let me get into the new finder, which says Trade Minister urges collective action to make Ghana business ready. Now, MTN paid 8.6 billion in taxes to government in 2024.
Wow.
Maybe let me just share a bit of the details with you. And so we're told that MTN Ghana contributed a total of 8.6 billion in direct and indirect taxes to the government in 2024, according to the chairman of the board of directors, Ishmael Yamson. He made this yesterday at the annual general meeting held at the Accra International Conference Center. He emphasized that the telecommunications giant remains committed to fulfilling its tax obligations and supporting Ghana's economic development, highlighting that the 8.6 billion contribution underscores MTN's role as a major player in the country's tax landscape. Now, the direct and indirect taxes paid by MTN includes corporate income tax, VAT, National Fiscal Stabilization Levy, and communication service tax. And these contributions, he explained, are part of MTN's broader commitment to supporting Ghana's economic development. Also on the front page, fuel stations to operate 24 hours. And the chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Edudi-Tamaklo, stated that in its bid to implement a 24-hour economy in the petroleum sector, the NPA will collaborate with various security agencies to ensure the safety of consumers and personnel at fuel stations across the country. So on Wednesday, March 26, 2025, at a special meeting with the Eastern Regional Minister, regional security heads, and key stakeholders at the Eastern Regional Coordinating Council in Koforidua, Mr. Tamaklo emphasized the importance of strict regulation and enforcement to protect the petroleum downstream industry from criminal activities. But of course, the most important thing also is whether there's a demand for fuel at that point in time. So that's it for the finder this morning. Also has a story about COVID-19 levy to be abolished by end of 2025. So the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Nyako, is assured that the COVID-19 levy is expected to be abolished at the end of the year. And government announces plan to reintroduce National Sanitation Day. So the government says that it will revive the National Sanitation Day initiative with an official launch on the 2nd of April 2025, and this program aims to promote cleanliness, hygiene and sanitation nationwide, encouraging citizens to adopt good hygiene practices and clean up their surroundings.
The minister in charge of local governance and chieftains has also been hinting that they should be introducing sanitation levy.
Oh.
Yeah. Yesterday in the news. Well, let me bring you an update from the Ghanaian Times, and there's a beautiful photo of the GBA president, Mrs. Ifwagate, and the president himself. Very nice one in front of the Ghanaian Times. And the president says, help purge judiciary of perceived corruption. Details of this is on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. And as well, petition to remove CJ. A Justice Tokono request for petition from President, and is on page 24 of the Ghanaian Times. Maybe I should just bring you a bit of that. The Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokono has requested of President John Dramani Mahama to furnish her with copies of the petitions seeking her removal from office. In a letter to the President, barely 24 hours after consultations with the Council of State in respect of 3 of the petitions seeking her removal, Justice Tokono argued that furnishing her with the petitions will enable her to be ready to respond adequately to the petitions. I'm sure
the air is thick with deja vu, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, yes.
We are all reminded of the last time such a process was carried out for the removal of a person in a similar office, the EC chair, Charlotte Osei, and we all recall how even after a prima facie case had been established against Charlotte Osei, and the Chief Justice had been tasked with, carrying out the process of investigation, even at that point, Charlotte Osei was denied a copy of the petition filed against her. She wrote all kinds of letters requesting it. All she had was a list of the accusations made against her. She didn't have a copy of the petition itself. And you remember Eugene Ahin writing that he finds it curious that Charlotte Osei would ask the president for a copy.
and that she should request that from the Chief Justice.
From the Chief Justice,
at the time.
yes. So suddenly, several years later, are we now operating with a different constitution?
It will be.
Do we now have different laws?
In fact, every time there's an issue in this country, it really questions some of the provisions in the Constitution, because at the time, then it was not the Chief Justice herself that was being petitioned, unlike today. It's
But the
not
petition
very novel,
process-
but very
the
novel.
petition-
but
process is the same.
What this Chief Justice has said, at least what I've read in the letter to the President, is the fact that in her case, whenever anybody is petitioned for the removal of a justice of the Superior Court, whenever that has been referred to her, whenever that has happened, she actually would give a copy of the petition to that person, hear from the person before a determination is made, and she believes same should be accorded her. At least she has indicated what her belief and understanding of the law is. So you could say that from her point of view, those who may have requested same in the past were right. Except that, as we may well know, the law is such that you're talking to different people at different times, and even though there are laid down principles, somebody may take a different position, and that's how come when you go to the court and you are unhappy, you go to the appeals court. If you go to the High Court, you're unhappy, you go to the appeals court, you go to the Supreme Court, and even would seek a review.
That is the entire point of the conversation. That even fairness has become objective, a matter of opinion, right? So at a certain time, it was fair to not give a copy of the petition to the person who was accused, but now it is fair to give a copy. So yeah, but some of these things need to be standardized. We need to understand that there is one way of doing. We need to find one way of doing things and move forward.
I've seen a long write-up by Samson. I'm sure later on we may just get in touch with him too, because he's explained what his advocacy in the past has been, the clarity on some of these things, because there are certain parts of the law itself that leaves room for discretion.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get into other stories.
Let's hope fairness is not one of those parts of the law that leaves room for discretion.
Anyway, are you done with the Ghanaian Times?
Yes.
So the news center says court to hear bail application of former NSB boss and wife today. I bring you a bit of that story here on the Super Morning Show. That's on page 8 of the news center, published by my very good friend Elvis Darko. So it says that Human Rights Court will today hear the bail application put in by Kwabena Dubois, former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, and his wife Angela J. Boateng. The couple are seeking bail at the court pending investigations by EOCO. They are said to have filed a motion against the EOCO and the Attorney General following their inability to execute their bail conditions while in custody. Dubois was granted bail in the sum of 120 million, while his wife in a sum of 80 million, and the couple are to provide justification for each of the bail sums. Margins ID Group showcases smart card innovation to Columbia University MBA students. CJ requests copies of removal petition amidst 2 injunction suits. It's also here. VRA's engineer Sophia Abna Tijani elected president of the Ghana Institution of Engineers. Now, SME loans, Fidelity Bank grants to 427 million. In 2024, supporting 35,000 jobs, injecting over 3.08 billion into the economy. I'll just share a bit of this and I'll tell you something. So, we're sure that Fidelity Bank has reinforced its commitment to Ghana's economic growth by disbursing some 427 million in small and medium enterprises loans in 2024. Now, this financial injection supported over 35,000 jobs, contributing an impressive 3.08 billion to the national economy. And this initiative underscores the bank's dedication to fostering financial empowerment. Building on the success of the Green Tech Innovation Challenge, the bank has announced the opening of applications. Now, this is the point. So you see, we've seen other banks doing this. We've seen the MasterCard Foundation helping, with very low interest rates for people to expand their business, particularly those in agribusiness. It is as a result of this that I do not believe that government has any business setting up a women's development bank. I strongly believe that government can make funds available to financial institutions in this country and ask them to release those funds to only women for the development of their business or enterprises. In the past, we have seen the National Entrepreneurial and Innovation Program, NAPE. We have seen the Micro and Small Loan Center, MASLOC, which have become avenues for people to again show their sense of entitlement. I've had conversations like, party in a MASLOC loan, those people just don't pay back. But today, the government can actually release funds to financial institutions, ask them to charge interest rate of say between 3 to 5%. Kujo, these people will get their monies back and money's worth.
Yeah, the banks will certainly ensure that they, put in robust measures to ensure they can take their money back. My question, and this is for my education because I don't actually know the answer, but since banks are private institutions, some of them are multinationals, are they obliged to enter such a partnership with government? If government comes along and says, I have this amount of money, I want you to lend it at this interest rate, are these banks obliged to go along?
I mean, obligation would be a strong word. But any business person will take advantage of that. Because, look, when government gives you that money, you're going to go into a partnership with government. What that would also mean for you, the bank, is that that person gets to keep his money with you. Okay? Because in order to qualify, you hold an account with the bank. And if you hold an account with the bank, it gives the bank an opportunity to also use your money to trade. So if the bank can use your money to trade, which bank wouldn't take advantage of that? I mean, we do the LPM of APSA that says APSA in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. They're giving loans at 10% interest rate. But those loans, before you qualify, you have an account with APSA Bank. The whole essence of getting businesses to have account with you is that they give you more money, even though you consider that as a liability. The good thing about that is that you could use that to grow your assets by way of also giving out loans, which you can get back.
Plus, the capital is not the bank's money, so
Yes.
the risk is removed, right? So there's no logical reason why a bank would say no to
No
such
to
an
that. Don't
agreement.
take it. Don't take it.